It's 11:18 right now, and of course it's Friday. So what happens on a Friday? Well, a load of brand new movies appear in the cinema near you, which is why I grab Van Connor, movie critic extraordinaire, every Friday to pop on the show for sort of 5-10 minutes to talk about two of the brand new movies that are out that weekend, so you can have an informed decision on what you go and see and what you avoid. Welcome back to the show, Van. It's good to see you.
Pleasure as always, Mr. Boy. I love being an informed opinion. I don't really think we'll add the informed on it, but yeah, badly informed. Okay, let's tell you what. I have got one from real left field this week because I guarantee this is getting reviewed like nowhere else, and it really deserves to. So there's a movie out this week that's been sat on the shelf for ages.
Yeah,
it's called Magazine Dreams, and prior to his legal troubles about 2 years ago, this was going to be Jonathan Majors' big kind of awards push, and actually I think it might have worked. So this is effectively What If Taxi Driver, but he's a bodybuilder. That's basically the way to look at it. You've got Jonathan Majors from Creed 3, from the Marvel Universe, where he's Kang. He is a disabled, aspiring bodybuilder, like a real amateur type, who just works packing bags in his local supermarket. And he struggles with his mental health and his impulse control and his rage and his strength that he can't quite keep in check. And he deals with all of this as he gears up for a new bodybuilding competition, struggles to look after his grandfather and maintain his house, and attempts to enter into a relationship with a co-worker, all of which is going on through his own struggles, or are they delusions? That's the question for the movie. Have a listen to this, Sizzle.
And how are things progressing with the young lady from work?
She's my girlfriend now. She likes me a lot. She laughs at everything I say. She really understands me.
I'm happy that she brings you joy. It is important that you find people that you can make an emotional bond with.
I was kind of getting vibes that this is quite a deep film to watch.
That scene is. It's weird that none of the other scenes have been made clips out of, because I tell you, I did not know from one 5 to 10 minute chunk to the next, like where in the hell this was going. And I was captivated. I was riveted. I was so disappointed for everyone who worked on this movie that all the legal stuff with Jonathan Majors had happened and had curtailed this movie, because this should have been given like a proper chance to be like a Taxi Driver, Nightcrawler, American Psycho, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer type character study of a quirky, unusual, and actually very well played character. I think Jonathan Majors is terrific. This is the performance of his career, and yet it's kind of just being unceremoniously dumped out now because they can't really stick him on press tours.
I mean, I've seen the trailer for it. The acting looks incredible, to be fair.
Oh, God, he's terrifying at times. Yeah. He's kind of endearing and almost Michael Clarke Duncan in The Green Mile. Like, did you turn the light off after bedtime type at times as well. There's some obvious influences he's pulling from as well in there. Because at one point, I clocked Ernie Hudson in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle as well. Because he is putting on like a character here. Like, he's leaning into the mental impairment of this character, and he's letting that inform and guide where he goes with it. And as a result, it keeps it suspenseful, it keeps it interesting. There's a dinner ordering sequence in this that will just absolutely change how you order food at a restaurant forever.
What's this rated at? What kind of age group?
This is a 15. I thought it would be a little bit higher, but it's actually 15.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you want to go and check it out, Magazine Dreams is what you look out for. And as Van said, not many people will be reviewing this week because it is in selected cinemas, but worth eyeing up and going to see from what Van has said. All right, this next movie, I've seen the trailer, I've read about it, and I really want to see it. It's called Eternity, and it's got a great premise, hasn't it?
It has. So this is what the sort of the love triangle that the movie centers around forms when an old man dies at his grandchild's gender reveal party, chokes on a pretzel, and he wakes up a second later on a train in the afterlife, looking like his sort of 30 to 35-year-old self. Because when you die, you go back to looking like when you were at your happiest.
Yes.
So I hope you like spending eternity looking like a 90s mod, my friend, because it's clearly in your future.
Yep.
Anyway, because he died, unexpectedly, his wife tragically passed. She had been being treated for cancer. She passes within a few days as well. As can happen with older couples, they pass within a short time of one another. So whilst he's in the afterlife choosing the eternity that he's going to spend existence in, she then pops up and he says, "Oh, hey, great, we can now spend eternity together like we'd always wanted to, because you get it's one shot and done. So let's find an eternity together, and you and I can go." By this point, she looks like Elizabeth Olsen, which I'm sure there's a not insignificant number of people in the world that would be at their happiest looking like Elizabeth Olsen. However, before they can make their decision and go off and live their 30-something physical prime lives for all of existence, another man enters the picture, played by Callum Turner, and he is her dead former husband from the Korean War. He was the first husband, and he's been waiting for her the entire time. "Hey, honey, come and spend eternity with me instead." So now you've got Elizabeth Olsen in a love triangle between, lost dreamboat Callum Turner, who's still very 1950s-like in his demeanor, and Miles Teller from Top Gun Maverick, who's the guy she spent 60 years with. Have a listen to this clip. This is Miles Teller trying to make his case to their afterlife coordinator, Divine Joy Randolph.
He looks like Montgomery Clift. Woo! Oh my gosh, I was saying this just the other day. Montgomery Clift. He is so handsome. Luke is so handsome.
You're not helping.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Luke is hot. His eyes are bluer than the ocean. He has a better narrative.
No, he doesn't. I have a better narrative. I was married to her for 65 years, and I gave her children.
Exactly. We go with that. That's strong. There's nothing more powerful than emotional blackmail.
Right?
Good on you.
I mean, this is literally up my street. I love all this kind of stuff, and it sounds like it's got a good bit of sort of comedy sort of moments in there as well.
Yeah, the comedy, the sharp writing of it delivers on both the comedy stakes and the emotional stuff. So you are actually quite bought into, because it's not a rom-com in a cheesy sense, it's more of a rom-dram.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Rom-dramedy, perhaps. And it makes that balance work quite well. This is an A24 movie as well, so they tend to have a certain brand aesthetic they go for, and that kind of fits here. The whole thing looks like something out of Loki, by the way, with a TVA and the sort of 50s, 60s inspired future tech. But it's a sort of conceptual merger of A Matter of Life and Death with David Niven and Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks, both of which are sort of iconic movies for completely different reasons, but conceptually this is sort of halfway in the middle of them. And I think the performances are really fun and zippy, and particularly Teller and Olsen, because they're playing old people in the bodies of young people, which they kind of get to have some fun with. The idea that mentally, as far as they're concerned, they're like 90 years old, but they're in the body of their 30-year-old self. So there's a bit of comedy to mine out of that. And then you've got Callum Turner's character, who, because he's passed in the 50s, has a very sort of 50s-inspired shtick, like it's there in the voice and the accent and things like that. So you get different kinds of performances, and then you get Divine Joy Randolph at the centre of it all as the afterlife coordinator, you can hear in the clip, who just steals the show. She's just funny and charming and witty, and very much so is the film. I was very won over by it. I thought it was a really sweet, really endearing, really funny movie. I've seen it twice now at two different press shows, and I will tell you, no one has disliked this.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Everyone of all ages has loved this movie.
I completely understand why as well. So if you want to go and see Eternity this weekend, you can. You can see it at Curzon, View, and the Oxford Cinema Cafe, View in Bicester, and the Light in Banbury also showing it. Thank you very much, Van. What have we got next week? Anything big on the list that we're going to look at?
We've got Christmas horror next week. We've got Silent Night, Deadly Night. The remake of that's out next week. I got to go and see this. They had a full evil Santa murder party in London for us this week. So I have seen it. I'm looking forward to talking to you about it, because it's out there. It's pretty out there. All
right, we'll find out what you thought then. Same time on Friday next week. Until then, Van, thank you so much for coming on. Have a good weekend.
Till the next time, good stuff.
Right, it's 11:27 on...